Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening. My name is Kwabena. Sorry, my think a call came through, and I was talking about principle or process thinking, and the fact that in our environment we've been conditioned to think uh, everything except process or principle thinking in terms of getting results with our lives, with our finances, with our marriage, with even our business, with country building, with continent building, with companies, everything. We have a lot of religious beliefs in terms of being able to achieve something with our lives. So uh, the structural thinking, the systemic thinking, the process thinking, the principle-based life, a lot of people don't apply them in anything that is with our lives at all. So we don't go deep when it comes to why things don't work in any particular area of our lives. Most of our people will only look for some kind of supernatural answer, some kind of religious answer. That's our first attempt. If something is not going well with our lives, most of our people will not sit down to see that what is the level of my understanding, what is the level of knowledge that I have, what is the level of wisdom that I have with respect to this thing that I'm trying to get results in. So uh, it's my marriage, it's my health, it's my finances, it's the business that I'm trying to build, it's my relationship, it's even a country that you are trying to build. What are the proper systems and the principles that we understand when it comes to building anything? And have you been committed to go through those to get results? Most of us will blame something, and that for me usually they cut all other avenues of us trying to look for principles as to why things don't work or as to why things work. So if you're with me, just build that lifestyle of you trying to develop anything. You want to develop something with your life. You want a successful marriage, there are principles. You want successful life, there are principles. You want successful career, there are principles. It's not just magic. It's not just somebody trying to pray for you. And almost all of us, our only strategy is just somebody going to look for a prophet, or going to look for a pastor to pray for us. And that, I think, has disturbed a lot of people. Most people will get into their 60s, 70s, and they have nothing. They have not achieved nothing because their only strategy was for them to look for the supernatural instead of us looking for principles. Instead of us looking for principles in building anything, whether it's life, whether it's business, whatever that you're building, even successful marriage. Most people believe that marriage, they have, what is the understanding that you have in trying to build this marriage that you say you have? Do you understand the man? Do you understand the woman? Do you understand the stages that marriages go through? What are the skills that you need to build a marriage? What are the skills that you need to build a marriage? The same. What are the skills that you have to build a company, to build a business, or even to build a career? What are the skills? Do we have them? Have you studied them? How much of those skills have you been taught? Or let's say you want to overcome poverty. What are the skills that you know? Because money, those who have money, is a skill, especially those who have had money ethically, that they didn't steal. It's a skill that they had to. And you cannot build any skill without you discovering the principles and the processes that are needed. For us as a people, Ghanaians, Africans, those are the last things that we ever think of, because most of our general understanding of how anything is built is they are without principles. They are not based on principles. They are not based on processes. We just believe that things will. We just hope. Most people just hope, and that's why at the end of our lives, in our late, most people don't even plan for their retirement at all. There's no strategy that, okay, if I'm going to live for 70 years, 80 years, or maybe 90 years, what are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that when I'm getting to those ages of my life, I will not become a liability on my children. I will not become a liability on society. I will not live in pain and penury. Most of us don't have anything. We just hope that God will do it. And that is one of the most dangerous aspects of our lives. It's so difficult for you to tell the Africans that maybe the God that you are looking for, maybe that God has established some laws that you have to follow. And usually when you follow those laws, you may not have to go and worry this kind of God that you say that you are looking up to. And it is difficult because then most people think that the moment they try to practice like that, it means that they are going against God. But I think that if you look at the universe, everything is being held together by principles and by processes. If you look at the galaxy, there are millions of things that look like this earth, which are not colliding. A lot of things, even if you look at the human body, a lot of things are accurate. And if something shifts a little, everything else will go bad. So this God is God of principles, God of processes, God of precision, excellence. But we are here, we try to just hope that things will change. Hope is dangerous when you are not doing anything. And that has become our culture. So as I was saying, I traveled somewhere and I was going through the road and I saw a lot of young men and women, most usually in their mid-30s, all prophets and pastors, and all the things that they have written on their signboards are things that are purporting to tell people that we can make your life better. And usually the answers that they are giving, they are supernatural answers. Breaking yoke and breaking family curses and all those. It means that we are just trying to find a way of how people can live better with their lives. But I think that we're just trying to take the power from the people. You cannot help anybody to live successfully if you try to take that power from that person. You have to let that person know that you have the power to make the decisions and be responsible for your life. And the things that you have to learn will be the principles and the processes. There is a principle thinking, there's a process thinking. And that's why the others are beating us, because we are not thinking in terms of processes, in terms of principles at all. We just hope and believe and pray and wait for God. And those things make a lot of things not work well. And so you want to start a business, you are doing business, things are going well. Do you identify those things that are making that business go well? Do you identify them? And do you have data on them? Can you predict them? Can you massage the data? Can you analyze the data? Do you even gather the data in the first place? Or you just think that, oh, today God was very, faithful to me, thankful to me, and that's why everything is going on? Or I think that God is looking for you using the data and predicting it so that you can replicate it in other areas of your life. That is not what we've been told. That's not what we've been taught. So if you're religious, some of these things will become weird to you. And that's why most people will not have enough to live on in their lifetime here. Or they will do all kind of things that they are not proud of just to get something to live by. Why? Because the principles, we don't go for them. And the processes, we even don't want to look at them at all. So we want personal life, we want to be successful as a manager in your workplace. There are principles. You have to go in early. You have to work extra than all the others who work. You have to be the person who will always be preemptive. You are always prompt. When they are looking for somebody to do the last work, you are the one doing it. And you're not complaining, you're happy working. If somebody needs good service, you are there, you're smiling. That's how you get ahead creditably, or you're a business person. You want to work. If they give you a project, you want to work with your heart. You want to be honest. You want to do whatever you want to do. You want to take, stock of the product that you sell or the project that you're doing. You monitor the cash that is going out. You monitor the cash that is coming in. There are processes. You start to train people who you think can be beneficial to the building of the business. What are the skills that you don't have? What are the skills that you have? Can you work on them? Because without those things, without those understandings, you cannot succeed as you want. And so you cannot peg your life on waiting for lotto, miracle, magic. Those may happen once, and they even happen in favor of the one who is working hard, who is putting a lot of hours in it. So I'm talking about process thinking, I'm talking about principle thinking. And so there are a lot. It does not mean that you don't believe in God. No, but so long as you're living, a lot of the things that you are going to enjoy with your life, they are in your hands. Like the way they talk as if anybody at all can just die anyhow. That's the kind of belief system that they have pushed on us, that your life is not your own. Anytime that anybody else at all can go. Sometimes it amazes me. Then why are those things not happening in countries that have been able to take care of their environment, of their health systems, of how people drive, of how people live? Why? Why don't they just die anyhow? Why don't they, catastrophes, things happen in those areas. But even that, they are able to take care of them a bit. But we just have been told that you can just die anytime, anyhow, and that just that you just gone. I think that is a looseness of mind for us to be believing that, because if you look, it's not something that goes through. In some other areas of the world, people are living 100 years, 90 years. Now they are even working on things that people can live for 150 years, 200 years. Now we are here, people are dying 30 years, 35. We are not looking at the food that we are eating, the water that we are drinking, the environment that we are staying, how the people drive, the pressure level of the people, the healthcare, chain. We don't look at any of them. We just believe that the devil is so powerful that he will kill people. And so early in the morning, you hear somebody preaching and say that if you don't take care, when you die, are you going to heaven, or you are not going to heaven? The condition has made us to be afraid. As if anything happens, but there are cause, there are effect. There's a time to sow and there's a time to reap. So the food that we are eating, where is it coming from? What are the chemicals that they are? What is the knowledge level of the farmers who are producing this food? What is the chemical level? Can we test them? How dangerous are these chemicals to the health of our people? You see young women bleaching, and some of them even taking medicine to get fat or to get bigger, whatever. Now, if somebody is doing that, there's a tendency that person can die any moment, because they are causing destruction to the body system. Their heart will beat off. There are things that we are doing. We are drinking water that is not good. The environment is, people burn what is it? Plastic, like it's nothing. Now, these are things that should be taken care of. Instead of us, we are just saying that anytime. That maybe is true, but there's a lot that we can do to control those things. And for me, it's because we don't believe in processes, we don't believe in principles, so we just live life to hope and chances and think that you will succeed by luck. You will succeed if perchance God blesses you, and there is destiny for everybody, as if we don't contribute to anything at all. I think all those are wrong way of looking at life. And if you really look at the fundamentals of even the Christian faith, these things go against them. Whatever a man sows, that he will reap. Those are the principles. It's a principle. So if you want to be successful, what are the things that you know to become successful? If you want to achieve something, what are the things that you know? What are the principles? Are they quality? Do you know them? Have you discovered them? Because people have practiced them. Now, they will not tell us to learn all these principles of hard work, of character, of diligence, of creativity, of thinking, of questioning, the processes, of confidence, of being yourself, of helping people. These are principles that if we learn them, they will help us to succeed. But these are not the things that we are teaching our young men. So most of our young men are just thinking that the other guy who is successful, he's successful because out of nowhere, the chance by. So people just live their life to chances. And that's why people don't have patience for endurance. They don't have endurance. If they start something and it's not working, they give up. People think that their marriage problems are just problems because maybe they didn't pray enough, they didn't fast enough. Those are all excuses. There is a quality of knowledge that you have to have before you can build a very successful home, or raise very successful children, or have a very successful marriage. There's a level of understanding of knowledge that you have to have. And those kind of knowledge, they are based on the principles of you building that thing. So the same with whatever that we build. And that is why, as Africans, we still struggle in trying to put our nation together, because the principles that are used to building nations, we have not studied them. We just hope that one day things will work. So our processes to get anybody to become a president, we don't even look them. We don't even look at them well. So anybody at all can just stand and become a president. If that guy becomes a president and he doesn't have the principles and the skill to lead the country, what do you think will happen? So we are hoping that just things, because if you really believe in the processes and the principles, then we'll be so much careful who gets to be the president, who gets to be the leader of the country or of the company. Same, if you believe in the principles, then you will be careful who you you let to manage whatever that you're doing. You would want to look for the character, the integrity, the diligence. You would want to look at them, because without those in existence, productivity will not be there, growth will not be there, expansion will not be there. So process thinking, principle thinking is the bottom line of all success in this life. So if you are not getting those things rightly, there is problem. And that's why we are blaming a lot of demons, we are blaming a lot of people for nothing. Meanwhile, there are things that we can do as a people within our domain. Not everything is so-called spirituality that they have made all of us to believe. So how do we use our time? How do you use your time? How do you use your resources? They are going to be responsible for the kind of growth level that we have in anything. The attention that you pay with the business that you're building, the career that you're building. What are the principles that you know? Do you want to sit down and study them? Or you're just hoping, as most people hope? Are you planning for 50 years and to live 70 years, 80 years, 100 years? And if you're thinking of that, what kind of food do you eat? What kind of water do you drink? What is your lifestyle? Do you have time to rest? Do you train? Or you just believe that one day you are just there and the devil will just come and kill you? Or death will just come, just as they tell us. A lot of things are not true. A lot of things are within our power. They are principles. Yes, there is some level of things that are beyond us, but we have shifted it. We have given a lot of, maybe 99% of the things that happen to us as out of our control, and then 1% as with our control. I think it's the other way around on this end. Other than that, those who don't have the same kind of belief system should not be succeeding. So those are the things that if you are going to build anything, you should look at. There are processes and there are principles when it comes to success. Financial success, there are processes. When it comes to marriage success, there are processes, there are principles. When it comes to business, there's same thing. When it comes to building a company, it's the same. Health is the same. When it comes to building a country, is the same. Anything that any people have built, there are principles that they followed, and the diligence that they gave to the principles and the processes was the reason that they succeeded in whatever they were doing. And so if you overlook the principles and we just say that, oh, it's not important, or just hope, you cannot put your life to lotto. You cannot put your life. You are still growing. What are the skills that you're developing? What information that you're developing? What is the level of your understanding? The things that you're doing. Don't just put everything beyond you, as the culture is trying to push on us. So everything is left, almost everything is left to lack. But even when we were in school, those who were in the first, class and things like that, very few were so much extremely brilliant. A lot of them were having the A's because they were at the library all the time. They were studying. That's why they had A. Those who were struggling were not studying. They were partying, they were traveling, they were going to all kind of things. So if you give your attention, if you are studying 1 hour and somebody is studying 6 hours, I can tell you, on the average, that person will beat you. At the exam time, that guy was always going through the old questions, so he was answering them all the time. When you go to the exam, at least 1 or 2 things of those questions will come up. And that's why they were that good in terms. It's not because they were so much super intelligent. I don't believe that. I believe that they were just going through the processes and the principles that will make them have the ace that they were looking for. And the other guys were just partying and watching football and films. And that's why they were not having the ace. So diligence, the player who is scoring or the boxer who is winning, go and look at the principles that he's using. He's attentive to the training. He's